I love making something out of nothing. I'm not trained, but I am brave and determined. Of course, I could hire a professional, but DIY first. And my goal is for right now, once the furniture is in that space, put some type of barrier up to prevent a lot of sawdust and things like that from getting into that space. So sort of like a makeshift DIY storage room that is possibly temporary. Hey guys, it's been a little bit of a time jump. What I want to do today is get this area sorted out and at least get the structure of it put in place. What I'm trying to do in this corner is create like a little storage area, quote unquote storage area, that is modifiable, I guess. And so what I thought about doing is to hang curtains, kind of like shower curtains or outdoor curtains or something like that, to kind of block this area off. That will hopefully kind of prevent some of the sawdust and things like that from getting in that area, and also block it from view so that I'm not just looking at it all the time. But also because of how I have this stuff here set up, it kind of intrudes into the space too much. And so my thought was, if I can get all of that into this corner and position it a little bit differently, that will open this area up where I'm standing, which is kind of my work area. But also there's an outlet behind this mattress, and moving this stuff will allow access to that outlet over there. And my ultimate goal right now is to make sure that everything electrical related is accessible, so that, well, first of all, it's not a fire hazard, but also so that when I get my electrician to come in, he'll be able to access everything, to check everything and make sure everything is safe, and also to run the new lines that I talked about before. So the first thing I need to do today is to kind of clean this area. It's not bad, but it hasn't been cleaned. The floor hasn't been cleaned probably ever. So I'm gonna do that first and kind of clear the space. And once that dries, then we can start kind of moving some stuff around. And once I get stuff in place, then I'll work on the rods for the curtains, and I'll kind of tell you what my idea is to get that done too. I was kind of going back and forth about whether or not I wanted to do this idea that I had in my mind. And just now that I have the items over here in this corner, I think I don't have a choice but to do it. So that idea was to build a platform that could sit over the couch, so the couch would slide underneath it, and then other things could go on top of it. I put pieces of wood underneath the mattress and this tabletop here to lift it up off the floor, because over here where I had it sitting originally, water seeped up from the concrete up into the fabric. So the side of the mattress that was on the ground is kind of damp. I don't see any mold on it, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it to see if any mold develops. But I left that side open so that the air could get to it and it can dry out. And I may put the blower on it as well to try to help that area dry out. And now just keep an eye on it to see if I see any mold coming up on it. And if I do, then, you know, obviously we'll throw it away. And then also the tabletop was wrapped like in a sheet. And so underneath there, I could see where kind of water kind of seeped up from the floor. So I don't know, it's not really an issue anywhere else except on this side wall. As far as I can tell, that side goes to outside. I have never noticed any water on this back wall, but most of that wall was covered up with cabinets and this tabletop here. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But moving everything over, and I think I am going to go ahead and build at least the one platform that will go over the couch. And then I'll think about what I need to do to make like a platform for the other pieces to just elevate them up off the floor. Anyway, I got a lot more work to do to get this space working properly. But anyway, we're going to focus in and one thing at a time and get it done. So let me see if I feel like building that today or maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, third time's a charm, I think. So I have finally come up with what I want to do with this corner, and I think this is the final decision. So I decided that I am going to seal the floor because it's just raw concrete that I don't think has ever been sealed or anything like that. And so my plan is to seal the floors and basically like paint on a waterproof layer that you could then actually paint on top of if you wanted to. But in this area, I think I'm just going to seal it and leave it. And it requires 2 coats of the sealant. But before I can do any of that, I need to prep the surface. And so basically what that means is that I need to clean it really, really well. I did clean a portion of this the other day, and the water was basically like you went and got mud out the yard. It was so dirty. But part of this was covered up with the furniture actually that was there. So I had to move that out of the way. Then I decided to build a platform, and then I decided to actually seal the floor. I actually thought about putting on a subfloor, which has I don't know if it's vinyl or plastic or whatever underneath it that kind of raises it up. So it's like OSB wood that's raised up on a short platform. And I thought about doing that because that's something I could just lay down on top of the floor without any extra work. But the reason I decided against that is because it would have been elevated slightly up off the floor. And I think it's just easier to maneuver heavy items if I don't have to lift them up onto an elevated floor. So that's why I decided to go with the paint version. I'm just going to work in this area that I have cleared out. I have a good kind of square area that's actually larger than the actual storage room is going to be. So that is where I'm going to start. I'm going to just work in this corner and work my way out. But first things first, I have to clean it really well because the paint will not stick to dirt. y'all, it's been a few days. Today is Thursday. I just got off work and I am hoping to go ahead and get this situation behind me, sorted out, at least the part that I can do myself, and then I'll have Corey come and help me move some stuff into place. But my goal for today is to get the rack up in the corner and to build the walls that will go around everything to kind of close that area off. So that's my plan. It is not something that should take me a very long to do. It's just a matter of just doing it. So the floor is finished. This stuff has a surprising texture. It's pretty rough. It has this sand looking stuff in it, gray, like very small gravel, kind of like sand stuff that's in it. And I thought it was just paint, but it's actually clear with that grainy stuff in it. So it makes like a rough texture, which is good for slip control, because the waterproof layer, I think I read some reviews or something and it said that it could be pretty slick or slippery. So I guess it's good that I went ahead and painted on top, but I mean, it's not very cute. And it may just be because the paint I have is maybe a year or two old. So I don't know if I had fresh paint, maybe it would roll on a little smoother, but you know, it is what it is. It's gonna get the job done. And I need to just get the tape up, get the rack in place, and then build the walls. And this area will be ready to receive whatever items are going to be stored behind it. All right, so I don't know if the wall is not straight or if this is not straight. More than likely this is not straight, but it could be the wall, but there's a pretty significant gap here. So I just put a block behind here with 3 screws in it to brace, as like a spacer. And then I just attach this with 1 screw, and I'm going to go to that corner over there because I can see that it's going down. So I'm gonna lift that corner up and try to level out that side, and hopefully this thing won't fall on my head because I'm gonna have to probably get underneath here to undo the screw that I did and then put one over here after I get it leveled up. So fingers crossed everything goes well. Okay, so that was about 45 minutes of work, and it's up, and I think it's pretty sturdy. I hope it is anyway. Yeah, I hope it's pretty sturdy because at this point it is what it is. Obviously, if it falls down or something happens to it, I can always reinforce it and you know, re-support it and put it up a different way if I want to. That's the good side of DIY, but it's up. So I think I should have waited for Corey, but you know, I just don't like to wait for stuff, and he's not available right now, and I just wanted to make some progress. I'm not used to kind of going off someone else's schedule, so if I can figure out some kind of way to do it, I will. But if you're gonna do something like this, I suggest you wait until you have a second set of hands. The alternative that I could have done would have been to make more legs that I could then take off later if I wanted to, or just put 4 legs on it anyway, just to be able to sit it in place and then secure it to the wall, which now that I'm thinking about it, probably would have been a better way to do it. And so if something happens with the way that it is now and it falls or something like that, then that's probably Hey y'all, it's the next morning and the platform is still standing. I mean, it didn't fall overnight, so I guess that's a good sign. Obviously, there's no pressure on it, there's no weight, but we'll see how it holds up under pressure. So like I said, I think that I have already come up with a plan if this doesn't prove to be stable enough. But Corey and I are we're gonna go out of town today for like a little weekend getaway. And so I do want to get this project completed before we leave. So what I'm going to do now is build the structure for the walls that are gonna go up. And I'm using PVC pipe to make the structure sort of like a curtain rod. So I'm gonna be using a curtain rod with Velcro and tarp to make the walls. It'll be connected to the ceiling at the 90-degree point and then connected to the 2 walls to make, you know, to kind of cordon off this area and block it off. I have limited time this morning because I do have some work to do before we leave for my actual day job, and then we'll be hitting the road. So let me go ahead and get this structure figured out and installed, and then we can get the furniture put in place, and this project will be basically done, at least for now. All right, so I have a couple of items here that I'm going to use to assemble this curtain rod, let's call it. I ordered these table support feet on Amazon. So they have the 3-point connection with the hole here. It's supposed to fit the PVC pipe. I should probably test it to make sure it fits. Yeah, so it fits pretty good. I think it's a good enough fit. I may need to add some glue to the one that'll go on the ceiling so that gravity doesn't cause it to disconnect, but I think it'll be perfectly fine for the ones on the wall. And also, since it is a good enough fit but not super tight, I could potentially take this down, hopefully without too much trouble. So this is what I'm going to use to attach it to the ceiling on the one side, and then the 2 walls on the other 2 sides. So that'll give me 3-point connection. And I also have this type of PVC connection. So it is also like a 90-degree T. So it's like a T, but it's 90 degrees. I don't know what you call this. I don't remember, but this is the connection. So this will go in the corner. So one side will go up to the ceiling, and these 2 will go out to the 2 walls, and that'll give me my connection. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this together and get it screwed in. These pieces came with these screws, and so I'm gonna use them. They are pretty small, but I'm gonna use them because if they're not strong enough, then I can obviously just put more screws in, or bigger, longer screws. But I'm gonna try these for now because I don't feel like it's gonna be holding that much weight. So I'll just try them and see. We'll just see what happens. Honestly, I don't know the best way to do this, so I'm just going to attach the first bracket in this corner and come out from there and figure out where the bracket should go on this side, and then see if I can meet in the middle. That's the best that I know to do. Okay, plan B. I'm gonna try to mark the holes and do a pilot hole and see if that helps me. I guess I could also tape it. Let me try tape. Let me see if I can tape it in place. This is when you mess up and waste material. So this is where, let's see. I need to, obviously I'm gonna have to go shorter. So it's gonna have to be shorter. It's definitely a snug fit. Okay, I'm gonna cut this shorter and then try to attach the other side. I am going to just let that do. 2 screws, the other one is kind of hard to get to. All right, one more side. Okay, the battery on my other camera died, so hopefully I'm in frame. I don't know, hopefully I'm in frame. But let me show you what my plan is. So I bought these tarps. I bought 2 of these tarps on Amazon. And this is just a multi-purpose tarp. It's waterproof. It has the corner grommets that I'm probably not going to use, and the reinforced edges. I got a 6x8 and an 8x10 tarp because I believe, if I measured correctly, I think the rail is about 8 feet up, right up close to the ceiling, and so I felt like the 8-foot one would come down close enough, but maybe, hopefully not like actually touch the floor, but almost. I almost went with the outdoor curtain, but I ultimately decided against that because I didn't want to have to worry about taking it down and washing it. I felt like the fabric or the outdoor curtain, which is sort of like a shower curtain, would potentially hold sawdust. And I felt like this tarp, I could just blow it off and like blow the sawdust and stuff off of it to clean it. Or I could just wipe it down very easily without having to take it down. So ultimately I decided to try these tarps and see how they work. Now, as far as how I'm going to attach them, originally I thought about hanging them like a shower curtain, which would have meant that I needed to either cut slits into it for the shower curtain rings and then hang those from the rod, or put grommets in there in more places and hang it that way. But I thought that maybe I wouldn't like the way it hanged, because I thought it would hang like a shower curtain or like regular curtains and kind of be kind of wavy. And I wanted it to be like flat, more like a wall. So with that in mind, I decided to try this outdoor Velcro. So what I thought was that I could stick this to the rod and then just stick the curtain up there, or stick the tarp up there on this, and it'll be on Velcro. So if I wanted to take it off, it's easy to just take that off. So I'm gonna try it, and it is outdoor Velcro. It's supposed to be for extreme weather, So I'm hoping that it will be able to withstand the hot summers that we have without melting the glue and the whole thing just falling down. But I decided that if that does happen, then I can always go to plan B and hang it by shower curtain rods or something like that. So not that big of a deal, but I'm going to give this a try and see how this works and see if this gets me the result that I'm looking for. Before I put this Velcro on, I'm going to clean the rod with alcohol. So I'm just going to put some alcohol on a towel, wipe the whole thing down. So hopefully that'll give the Velcro a better chance of sticking. And then, so I'll do that, let that dry. I'm going to go get my meeting started that I have and then come back and hang this up after we put the furniture in place. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm trying to get this done before we actually hit the road today for our little mini vacay. So let me get this thing cleaned up, let it dry and do its thing, and then I'll come back and get this corner of the garage completed, which is very exciting that I will have at least one space completed.
You're going to flip it over? I'm going to leave it like this.
I don't know.
Okay, like this.
Turn it upside down?
No.
Oh, put it up. Yeah, okay.
Hold on. Hey, I can sleep out here now. It's a room.
Face down? Yeah, so I'm done. You crawling up in there trying to live.
Oh, boy, you know they will.
You going up first up,
You going to do your line. Swing around.
Oh. Now this theoretically should be able to just roll.
Just looking,
under.
seeing daylight in here. Seeing daylight.
Hopefully it's big enough.
No, it'll go under there.
Okay. Like hopefully I measured correctly. Oh yeah, see this floor? Make it easier to push it. Slide easier. Oh, see?
See?
It's like it was made for
It was.
this. Literally.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
What
now
made you come up with this?
my brain. I'm just
Give me some of that brain. Give me that brain. Give me some brain.
Just so you know what I'm thinking. I did still want to put that piece of glass inside this tabletop.
That?
Inside here. And then we have this stuff that we can wrap it around to hold it in place. So if we can pull that tabletop out, it can just sit up against, just lean it up against here, and we can load it up and wrap it.
Okay.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess put the mattress in front of everything. Okay, last step is to hang the tarps from the rack up there and close this area off. So we'll see if my plan actually works. If I can do this without having to cut the tarps, I feel like that would be ideal for me, because then I can reuse the tarps. If I ever decide to change this out and do something else, I can reuse the tarps without messing them up. But I'll just have to, I'm gonna think about it and see what I come up with. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this other side attached and call this project done for now. Got one more Velcro piece, and I'm just going to use this sort of like a doorway, sort of, to stick this little flap here over, so it kind of like close the door here on this corner. I think it gives it a cleaner look, and we'll just have to see if this holds or not over time. Well, I think that's better. Probably doesn't look like much on the camera, kind of like a green blob, but I think this is going to definitely work better for my purposes. And if I'm standing back here in my work area, it's just a cleaner look. I could even decorate it in some way if I wanted to, but for now, I think it's going to get the job done. We'll see if the Velcro holds. We'll also see if the PVC pipe here coming down from the ceiling, if that holds with the added weight of the tarp without any kind of adhesive or anything. I do have like plumber's glue or whatever that stuff is that they use to connect PVC pipes. So if I need to, I can always add that later if it falls down or something. But I mean, honestly, I could come back from our little vacation and the whole thing be on the ground. But anyway. Well, guys, I came in today and this is what I found. So the walls that I put up for the storage area is a fail. So clearly the Velcro is not going to work. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's not compatible with the materials. It seems to be sticking pretty good to the PVC, but not to the tarp material. And maybe it's because that type of material is just hard to stick things to, which probably is good for, I guess, the purpose you would actually use a tarp for. So that's a fail, but the rack itself, or the poles, are still up, so I can figure something else out. Now, these tarps came with grommets already installed in a few different places around all of the perimeters. So what I'm thinking now is that I can use those grommets to attach it to the bar with these cable ties. So I'm thinking these are long enough. This is the long kind. It's 8 inches, which should be plenty long enough. And I think that I can attach the tarp and do it tight enough to where it'll stay in place and won't like shift around like it would if I used shower curtain rings. I don't think those would be stable enough to get me the look that I want. I think it would maybe shift around or buckle because there's not very many grommets. They're pretty far apart from each other. So I'm gonna try these. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing here, so this is the corner where the two pieces meet, and this piece over here actually overlaps, which is good. And it's also up a little bit higher. So what I think I can do is take my, what do you call this thing? Take my cable tie through here and then loop it around the pole and tighten it so it can be up. You know, it can be like attached here, but then this little seam here will kind of act like a sort of like a doorway. I think that'll keep it like neatly closed. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll see if that holds. So I think this is going to work for me for now. And yeah, the garage is coming together, so I'm going to keep working and see if I can continue making progress to get this whole thing wrapped up and move on to the next big project. But this is going to be a game changer if I can really like pull this garage off and get done what I'm wanting to get done. I'll see y'all next time. We'll call this a wrap, and I will see you guys next week with another episode.